What's up, everybody? On today's episode of Real with Omar, I have a special guest. I actually met him at a Bronx NARP event where I spoke at. He was the moderator. It was good synergy, and we're going to get into the conversation, but out of 100 people, maybe 10 stick, and I think hopefully this guy will stick. I think he's good people, good to have around, good to have on the phone. Daniel Menendez, a real estate investor and fellow banker, but we're going to talk about the real estate investing side today. Daniel, thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you very much, Louis. I am grateful to be here and on a scripted day.
Yeah, I love that. I love the outfit. You came dressed up.
Well, yeah. So it's the day to day.
Working man. It's a working
yes,
man.
yes. It's always a working day.
Yeah,
yes. If it's not like this, it will be a church too.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, but no, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for being here. Keep opening the doors.
No, absolutely.
And welcoming me, and I appreciate that, and looking forward to having a great conversation.
Yeah, man. So where do we start? What do you want people to know about you? Let's go with that one.
What do I want people to know about me?
Well, on today's show, not you're there on today's show.
Oh, okay. Well, what I'll tell you, it's very, very driven. Okay. You know, I think it's like about me is I'm a very caring person, very family oriented. Mm-hmm. I love to help people.
Okay.
You know, and I think that comes from being at a point in my life where I migrated to this country back in 2001. Mm-hmm. With no family members, with no in the U.S.
How old were you?
18.
You came by yourself?
Yes.
That I did not know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't speak English.
So why did you decide to come to America? For a fair chance? For a shot?
Actually,
Let's say for a girl.
No. That wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. Actually, I think I wanted to have independence and just try something new in a different country where I saw opportunity.
Okay.
And I know there was going to be many challenges. And because of the fact that I didn't have that support system, my aunt or brother, a sister, or someone to look for help.
So you had nobody in the country?
No.
Okay.
So I came to a neighbor's apartment in the Bronx.
Okay.
Right around Bruckner Boulevard and Boynton Avenue.
Not far from where we're at right now, guys.
Yes. Yeah. Not far. And eventually, right, just trusting the process, trusting God in the process and going through life, I had certain people in my life that had given me help, and because of that, I'm just so grateful, and I like to help people out. So I'm someone that this is what I do. I'm also in the business of helping families achieve the dream of homeownership.
Right.
I love to do that, and everyone in my circle, I am someone that is very giving. I like to help people. I mentor college students. I'm also part of Brooklyn College Foundation at the board level within CUNY. And I'll be teaching there actually this summer. So,
you're a professor?
Yes.
Okay. What's the class going to be?
Business management.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Principle of business management. So, I am someone that is very committed, very giving. I like to help. So that's big about me. I volunteered as well. I would say quite a lot. I'm also part of NAREP, as you know, National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, and very involved in the community. Very committed. So I would say that, and of course, I love my kids. I have an 18-year-old daughter this year turning. And my son, who's going to be 13, Abigail and Sebastian.
Wow, look at you. Well-rounded, very giving. Let me break that down for a second, because I think most people want to be giving, right? Most people want to be giving, and there's certain people that they're so oblivious to somebody else's generosity because they're used to just taking, right? Mm-hmm. And I narrate this to say, even in my own life, I've had different encounters with people and things like that, and sometimes you see that a relationship is not good for you, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's usually hindsight. It's never like when it's happening. It's kind of like, what's this stress about? Why do I feel this way? How do you deal with that? Because that's a real concern, even for me. Like I have methods of dealing with that lately. And we all do, especially as we kind of ascend. What I mean by that is we start accumulating stuff, you're seeing a different way, right? You're seeing a different way, as if, you have all the answers to every problem, and it's not true. You level up and you deal with new circumstances, new problems, right? But how do you convey that to sometimes? Because I feel, I'm just talking from personal experience, that people are like, yeah, your problems aren't real, man. I need this, I need that. And I'm like, all right, listen, I try to engage, but sometimes then I have to disengage. I have to selectively be unavailable. Do you ever find that, or have you never found? Am I just talking some crazy shit right now, or do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I mean, I can relate to that.
Anybody who gives knows. Yeah, anybody who gives knows. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I can relate to that. In one of the I would say areas that I worked on and close people to me would agree on is on the empathy part.
Okay.
Right, because as I had focused on this journey past 20 plus years in terms of just achieving a career success or saving money or buying property, buying another one, it's been like a me in a way, and also with the people around me, helping them out. But at the same time, when you have a lot of demand for help, or when you identify that all that attention that is being asked for is because they want something.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Or they need something. And it's always just because of that. And there's not that genuine connection. So I would say that empathy part in terms of relating to them, and then how do I progressively manage to filter that?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been quite an interesting learning experience.
Okay.
But yes, encounter that. And I think what has in a way has helped me is just been going straight to the point in terms of, hey, let's go to what is the essence of the message of what you would like to take away, or how can I help you, or what would be can you summarize it into a few sentences so that we can go to the core. And because I do have a lot, I would say mainly from like some students, that are going through that journey, and I can relate to that because back when I was just about to graduate from college
This was in your country or here?
Here.
Or here, okay.
Yeah, because I went to high school there, then came here. I was undocumented for like about 5 years or so.
Okay.
Then learned English, doing much better now.
No, great English, bro.
Thank you.
Better than most people I know.
Well,
like
thank
Eric.
you. An American. No, thank you. So, going into the college piece, when I was about to graduate, I didn't even have a plan. I mean, prior to the banking life and the corporate side, I was working in restaurants for 8 years. So I had that time of uncertainty, of anxiety in terms of, what's going to be the future like, right? And at some point I was a doorman in Manhattan, and I was just thinking, oh my God, people pay so much for HOA fees or for maintenance fees or for a mortgage.
You said you were a doorman.
At some point, yeah.
Can you tell me where? Like not the
97th and Western Avenue.
Okay, West
Manhattan.
Side.
Yeah, West Side.
All right, so I was a doorman for a year. I was an elevator man.
Yeah?
Elevator man. That's, not that it's better because doorman you meet everybody, but
but
the building,
that's better.
yeah, but the building obviously if the guy has pushed the buttons for you, like you paid. So I think that part of my life, I was 21 around that time. That part of my life showed me, because I met a lot of people. I met Nicholas Pileggi, who wrote Goodfellas. I met Nora Ephron, Sleepless in Seattle, Cyndi Lauper. I met a lot of people, right? All really nice people. And what I was able to decipher from my interaction with them was simply that everybody's going through shit. It's different shit, and it's it maybe for me at that time in my life it was very financial, right? I had a son, I was young, I had college, I had a lot of financial pressure, so that to me was real. Meanwhile, I would you would see how some of them have nuclear families or families, I forgot the term. The term is composite, blended families, where they're dealing with the stepfather. They have their own shit in a real way, right? In a real way. So, but the one thing, in speaking to some, and I say this to say that had I not experienced it for myself, it would be hard for me to hear this message. It's like they're just like us. People, high net worth, low net worth, it doesn't matter. They have shit, right? So their shit might not be, I can't pay the rent. Their shit might be like, I have a health issue. Or my son, I can't deal with his sexuality. Like there was like a whole gamut of shit that as a 21-year-old, I'm like, wow. And I'm looking and, because you're in the elevator, there's nowhere to go, bro. It's like, 4x4. There's 4 people in there. They're talking. You're supposed to be invisible. That's what we were trained to be, invisible. They're like, you ask them what floor they want to go to, and you don't say anything else.
Yeah.
And that's what hi, what floor? And that was it. But eventually you start engaging, right? And then you start seeing people more and more. They get familiar and they want to talk to you. And then you start seeing, as a 21-year-old, I'm like, wow, she's a big time singer, but she has issues with, whatever. I'm just making this up, but, with her husband or they're big time movie makers, But the issue with the stepson, and you see it, like you feel the tension. So everybody's going through it. So when you said doorman, you just opened up that memory for me, and I had to talk about it because going back to what I said about giving, right? Like those type of people, they have to be guarded because all they do is get hit all day. Can I have this? Can I have this? Like, yo, bro, can I have a sandwich? Like when they used to come into the building, it was on 79th and Broadway, the Apthorpe. There was a gate with a doorman.
Yeah.
The paparazzi be outside with and it gets kind of crazy, bro. Like, anyway, you just brought me down that memory, so I had to talk about it, bro. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no.
So back to the doorman part.
Unscripted.
Yeah, unscripted. Absolutely. And I think when I spoke to you, when I first met you, I said, you had told me that that you were in the hospitality business, you were in the restaurant business. And I said, yo, I get it now. Because I was like, your approach, your energy, I understood that. I also worked in a restaurant. So I knew you had to create experiences for people. People, you have to bring them in, make them feel comfortable very quickly, make them feel like they belong here and feel, like, cómodo, right? And that's, in Spanish, it's cariño, right? You give them cariño. They feel happy, they want to spend, they want to tip, and that's what you're supposed to create.
Yeah, we'll have a good time. Yeah, no, that's right. So from that transition of the doorman world to construction when I was undocumented, then eventually going into restaurants. Yeah, I did work at South Seaport, Cabana Restaurant, Pier 17. I also worked in other restaurants like Boulay, Danube, Le Bernardin,
nice places.
St. George, Jan George.
Yeah, you weren't working at TGIF. You
I had a couple cuchifritos from place to place.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it was all part of the journey, and I think we all, everything that we live in right now, it's supposed to happen. It had a purpose.
It's part of constructing who you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we are living the story of the decisions that we made.
Yes, absolutely.
In our journey. So that's why I'm giving, I would say. And biggest I would say for me is going to church and just being able to give back, financially, with my time as well, and just being very involved in the community is something that's really marked me for life.
Yeah. What do you feel is your biggest impact? Like, I have mentors, right? Mentees, my bad. Mentees. I have mentees, and I treat them the way the world would treat them. Right? For example, like they'll be like, "Hey, I want to come in." I'm just making shit up.
Yeah.
Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm like, from 10 to 4.
Yeah.
Okay. I said, put in calendar.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? I was like, if those are the only 2 days that are available to you and you want to learn what I do, the only way to learn what I do is be around.
Yeah.
If I'm in the office and you can be there, you should be there. But they want like some sort of prompting. And I'm like, no, there's no prompt. Either you want it or you don't. And it's okay. Either way, tomorrow's going to be Wednesday for me. Sun's going to go up, go down, moon's going to come up. I want you to want, because one kid was very, very honest with me. He's like, I just want to be around different energy. Like, my neighborhood, it sucks. I don't want to be around that. I said, I hear you. I understand. I said, okay, so I'm going to give you the green light. But I told him this from the beginning. I say, I'm not going to baby you. I'm not going to look for you. I don't pay you.
Yeah.
All right? And if anything, you're slowing me down. So either you get here or you don't. So it works for certain personalities.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for others because they're like,
True.
I'm like.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's different for everybody, right? How we approach it. But I will tell you, for me, it's like in the close circle, and eventually people that I care for. It's been about trying to project my better self with them, as if I would have had that help way back then.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
So talk straight up in terms of what would I do if I was you at that age, the younger self of me, and I start normally with like money management. What do you do with your money? How do you manage your money? Let's put it on like list of expenses on a spreadsheet and see where the cash flow goes and how you start making decisions in your journey. What are some of the target goals that you want to accomplish? And let's look at that roadmap and what are you doing now to really accomplish those, right? So you can get there. And if you have an investment property in place, how can we actually successfully get there? So I'm a spreadsheet person.
Very. Yeah, no, it's great.
So that's how I do it. And then seeing how are you protecting your time too, right? How are you protecting your time to make sure that you stay focused in terms of having a balanced life that is still within course. So sometimes I have approached certain people that they're like, that's sort of too much for me. I'm like, okay, hey, everyone goes at their own pace. But the only way to see it is from really blocking that time and doing it either side by side or screen sharing. So we can go through it, and feedback that I've gotten from people, like maybe not on the spot, but like months down the road, were like, oh, that was an eye-opening for me. And thank you for that. And they may not say it in the beginning because it was maybe like a very shock.
Yeah.
Because in full disclosure, I'm like, hey, listen, I'm just going to talk to you straight up. No one's going to quote anything. And I'll be like, hey, who pays $300 for a gym? And if that person is watching right now,
I do. Lifetime, baby, because I get my hoops in. But
she's gonna be like, oh yeah, you're talking about me, right? But then when there's other priorities, right? Because if you've gotten there and you have accomplished all these goals that you had, then it's fine for you to do that, right? At that time in life. But not if you're in that stage of building, and then just how you prioritize your decisions with the money. Right, with your money. So it's just different. So I would say for me that works, and it feels really rewarding, filling with students, with people that are graduating from college, or even business partners now. Like we were just having a conversation in terms of people within our circle.
Yeah.
Let's say they're in real estate, and yes, you are serving, helping, you're building, and you're preaching a great game, but you haven't taken that risk yourself, right?
No. Unpack that, bro. I'm sorry. I'm just put this on mute. Unpack that. What we're talking about, to be very clear, is that when I joined an organization which we will not name, and he's part of the organization now, I was a president. I founded the Bronx chapter, and my biggest thing to my board was like, "Are you guys homeowners?" And some were, some weren't.
Yeah.
I was like, then your next step should become a homeowner. Like, to me, it was hypocritical for you to go out there and educate and coach other people things you have not done.
Yeah.
So I'm a big believer in doing the thing and then talking about it, not talking about it before I do it. Because if I'm going to give you clues, or I use this all the time, if I'm going to give you the answers to the test, I have to take the test.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like saying, oh, all right, this is the greatest example. It's like going to the gym and seeing I'm sorry if I say this poetry, a fat personal trainer. What fuck you going to teach me, bro? You can't even keep shit out your mouth. Like, discipline is the first thing that you want to change something is discipline. Oh, that sucks. People come to me, a lot of people come to me and they're like, I want to have what you have. I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm like, oh, the car, the this, the that, the lifestyle, the wife, not my wife, but you know what I'm saying? Like everything. I'm like, well, bro, it takes work. I was like, there's no, because I was talking to my other friend the other day and he's laughing. He was like, they come here and they observe me. And they think that there is some secret room that I go to that gives me all the leads or all the commission or the closings. I'm like, no. This is the secret, the work. You've heard this saying before, right? All the results are hiding. All the results you seek are hiding behind the work you're avoiding, right? And I tell that to guys all the time. I'm like, guys, because usually it's young men that I have that type of energy, right? So that I'm like, yo, no problem. This is what you have to do, and there is no guarantee it's going to happen. I said, let me just tell you that, right? Because, when's it going to happen? It could never happen. And that is the truth. And I'm not trying to dissuade you, but I want you to walk in with your eyes open. Now, the response to that is, I'm going to make it happen. Now, if you don't have that in you, no one will give it to you. And I said, you got to have that conversation with yourself, because there's going to be days, I said, even at the level that I'm at, there's days that I'm down. Like, things don't go my way. Things didn't happen. A deal dies. Like, and you just got to, dust yourself off, take a deep breath, and step forward anyway, right? So what advice do you have to people for that? Yeah, I mean, deep. It's real.
Yeah.
It's real. There's days that you get punched in your face and you're like, whoa, I need a second. A second. Yeah.
Agreed.
So what advice do you have to people for that? Maybe your message will be different or maybe received differently.
My message for shake it off and move on and continue thriving and going through the wall and to be relentless. I mean, I think, and we were also talking about this earlier outside of here, right? In terms of current generation versus our generation. I mean, I was in a time where we grew up where there were no cell phones, no iPhone. Right, yeah, that's not
No internet.
Where my
The
mom
internet,
actually,
the internet came out when I was in college. I know I'm old, but that's what it was.
my mom actually used to put a lock on the disc phone.
Oh wow.
You know, so I don't make
Rotary
calls.
phone. Rotary. Yeah. I remember that. I remember that.
So I think for it helped me the fact that I really didn't have choices. You know, it was just the only choice of just win. You know, like you have to do it. Like I went to college, got my associates, my bachelor's, went to BMCC, Brooklyn College, also got an MBA from Florida International University. But I wasn't someone that liked college or
Well, let me ask you this question.
college, right?
Why did you go to school? What was the was it
Because I knew that there was a path to do better than where I was.
Okay.
That was it.
valid?
You know,
Valid, yeah.
I just knew that it was going to open more doors that I didn't
So
have.
you didn't have the answer, but you knew it would give you access. And
Yes.
to me, college for me was like I grew up on the block, in the hood, and I'm like, this can't be it. Like this can't be the whole
Yeah.
thing. Like so, I went to educate. My mother always said go to school so I don't have to do what she does, which was work with her hands. But I was also smart enough to understand. I was like, yo, this can't be it. The guys drinking 40s on the block. This can't be it. Like there has to be more to life.
What
right?
it was, yeah. So, and then back to what gives you that motivation. Well, faith is important, right? Because then, you know, being in a country where different language, no friends, no connections. I don't even have Facebook now. I don't. So I wasn't someone that is really out there. So very lonely in a way. But then going to school just because I knew that eventually it was going to open other doors. But even at the point when I started, I wasn't documented. So I didn't even know if I was going to have a social security or green card.
There's a lot of uncertainty, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of anxiety. And I would say faith was one. But of course, not every day I just wake up and like, yeah, let me go pray. Let's conquer the world.
Let me ask
right?
this question. Faith in the form of church or faith in self? Like,
So, I mean,
like believing that this will work out.
Well, I believe in God, right?
Right.
And I have, non-religious wise, right? So non-denominational, I'm a Christian. So I do read, I prayed, I do attend church. So spiritually, I think it's been a journey. Has been ups and downs, but that has given me certainly a drive,
Okay.
right, to keep moving forward. And just as everyone, like you mentioned, back in the elevator, right? I also, when I was a doorman, I had quite a few people. Lawrence Fishburne was one of the
Cool.
the shareholders on a building that I was doorman for. And I mean, I've seen families from all walks of life, and we all go through stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We all do. We may see them in movies. We may see them super affluent. One of my friends who is also back from that times in my life, he owns like 53 or so properties in between Brooklyn, Harlem, Queens,
53.
multifamilies. Yeah.
Wow.
And the only way I know is because I did a loan for him
Okay.
and his wife. So super affluent, but they all go through stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's just like how are you mentally fit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. That's a really good. How mentally fit are you?
Yeah.
That's a great. Wow. I never really heard of that before.
Because
You hear mental health, you hear that, but mentally fit. All right, I like that.
you know, and it's all part of the process. Someone that I go to still see, you know, from whenever I want to, and he's like, hey, he recently said, hey, you know what, you're one of the few people I consider a friend. You know, I never ask him for anything, never say, hey, can you lend me money or anything like that? Can you come into a deal with me? Never. Just always respected him because of his wisdom. He's someone well-educated, 2 kids in college, and he's been through also different stages of life, from culturally, he's Chinese, American, you know, different backgrounds. And I think one of the best attributes that or I would say benefits that I had in life is learning, you know, learning from people around me, from you, from the goods and the bads, what not to do. Like,
Yeah, look, looking at I've been careful with my words, right? All right, because I get scrutinized sometimes. Looking at somebody who's fucked up, I'm gonna use that word, is a lesson. If you be like, all right, what did he do or she do to get there? Because I don't want to get there. So, you know, and usually back in the days earlier, it was very easy. Before, it was usually some sort of chemical dependence. Like that was in where I grew up and the neighborhoods and the family, Vietnam, a lot of guys came back dependent. And now it's easy to see. Then I grew up in the 90s where crack cocaine and all that crazy shit. So it was very easy to identify where they went wrong. Now what's happening is as we all ascend and, you know, vertically climb, I walk in different areas. I walk in different places, and you just start seeing that opioids are a thing for high net worth, like for the young upper middle class. They go to doctors for some sort of direction, and it's very easy to prescribe pain or whatever type of mental clarity drug you have. And I feel like, I think where we're going, where we're propelling to as a society, is more towards what's the instant answer, right? I have this, great, do this. And sometimes it's not that simple. Sometimes, going back to your statement, it's a test of how mentally fit you are. And the only way you get fit is by working out, whether it be with the gym or mentally, to work on your endurance, your threshold, and your mindset. I think the mindset changes everything, right? We can look at the same thing and see two totally different situations, right? But you can look at the same thing today, be upset because you're upset about something else. Look at it, oh, it's fucking negative, or look at it in 6 hours when you're clear and be like, oh, okay, I understand, we gotta fix this. Like, it's just usually where we're at, right? So what I'm saying is that what I see this generation, where I see them going, and I don't know if it's a victimization of big pharma, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
But it just seems like everybody wants a quick answer. And sometimes there is no quick answer. Sometimes you have to just do the work, right? Like, some guys will be like, oh, I want to just get, whatever you get. What's that called? Eric, what's that called with the diabetic? No, the other one. The one people using
to lose weight.
Yeah. Ozempic, right? Everyone wants to use Ozempic. Like, I know people that are using Ozempic. I'm like, yo, bro, why? I was like, Ozempic might help you drop the weight, right? But structurally, I'm talking about human anatomy right now. I was like, weight training will increase your longevity of life and the type of life you're going to have. You don't want to be frail. Like, you hear a lot of people, when they fall, they get older, they fall. They break a hip, they break a this. It's because they don't train. Their bodies are just frail. Like, you lose it. You know, there's this thing called Wolff's Law where the more weight you put on your bone, the denser it becomes, right? I'm just using that concept. It's very simple. Like, if you want to have a good, look, I'm 50. I don't look 50.
You're great 50.
I'm redefining 50. No, I'm
a good looking 50 guy.
I mean, young, old, I'm not going to say the last part. Young, older. But it's because of the way I live. I'm like, yo, I'm aware. This is what's coming, right? I lost my mother last year. I lost a lot of people in my family. I see what happened. I'm a student. I'm like, all right, well, they like shit. They did this. They did that. Let me tweak all this. Let me fix this because I don't want to end up like that. I'm not judging them. I just going back to seeing something that I don't want to happen to me. So, all right, let me learn that lesson. All right, she didn't do this. She didn't take care of that. All right, let me do that. Let me do this. Let me do because I want to have some sort of quality life. My kids are older. I'm going to have grandkids. I'm going to, like, I have young men in my life, my 3 boys. I'm still the strongest guy. I always tell them, I'm the strongest Avenger. So if somebody's ready to take me out, I'm in charge, right? So like, but it's an active decision. Yeah. And that's the part where people are like, oh, how'd you get there? I was like, I didn't get there by mistake.
Yeah.
I get there by getting up every day at 4 a.m. And doing the work. And some days, like you said, I feel great, ready to go, feel supercharged. Other days I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But I get up anyway, right? And then you just do the whole, let me just do this and the power of one more, right? Ed Milet says that, let me just do one more thing. And then eventually it compounds and you get through your whole thing and you feel accomplished, right? I've never had a workout and felt bad. I've always felt better. So I know that at the end, it will benefit me mentally as well as physically. But I just, when I speak to, going back, this is all circling back to the mentees.
Yeah.
When I speak to the mentees, I'm like, you don't have that. You need to develop that. And sometimes I feel there's a gap, right? And I tell them, listen, I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart, and I care about you. This is what I'm saying. I'm not judging you. I'm not sitting there, I privately want you to fail. I want you to succeed. But looking in the mirror is hard sometimes. And you tell me I want what you have. Well, bro, it's almost like a disservice to me because like you're saying like anybody could have it. And I was like, I'm not saying you can't have it. I'm just saying there's work involved. So if I'm ready, unless you're ready to put your big boy pants on and get busy, it ain't gonna happen for you, especially coming from where I come from or where you come from, because I know where they come from financially. I came from there. I'm no stranger. Like, this is not like, oh, you can't relate. Oh my, no, I can relate. Government cheese. Well, yeah, I can relate. Like, I came from that. I just decided that wasn't for me. And in that decision, I changed. I changed to become the person I needed to become in order to achieve what I want to achieve. And I think that's the message, right? You have to change. It's not just one thing.
But it's so difficult to apply positive change in behaviors.
It's very simple, but hard to do. Yeah. Absolutely. It's very, like me and you talking about all that.
Identify.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Just fix this.
And lately I've been seeing or hearing people talk about, hell, mindset, adjust your mindset, and, you're going to see the power of change. And but then changing, adapting, and implementing sustainable growth mindset, it's not as easy as it sounds, right? So what 2-3 things would you suggest to say, hey, for people to do? Because for example, you were talking about you having a relationship of 23 years or so on marriage, right? Your marriage, 3
happily.
kids. Yeah, happily.
I said happily.
And then, not every achievement of property or real estate, right, that you had, because you have cars and you do, and others has been all success after success after success, right? You must have failed.
Oh, I failed so many more times than I've succeeded in anything. Yeah.
Right.
But I try. And so here, the message, this is the one thing I can say that might change for anybody.
Yeah.
Right? In life, there are the participants and the spectators. I would rather die tomorrow as a participant than live forever as a spectator. And you take that metaphor and apply it to anything, whether it's sports, business, life, family. I would rather die trying than live forever not knowing, right? That's the conversation, right? Oh, I can't. You've already disqualified yourself. Of course you can't. Why? Because you believe you can't. Now, what if you could? Right? So that's the shift. What if I could? What if I did? So then make the goal achievable.
So to that is like it comes to my mind on, people think that, if I'm going to put skin in the game, I'm going to lose. Or people are afraid of losing or calling it losing.
Or you might win. Yeah.
Right. But people are afraid to invest themselves in because of a loss. But if just to the mindset, right? Do you see it as that, or do you see it as the cost of learning and grow? Because if you're going to invest money and you may be afraid of taking that risk, and they eventually don't take the risk. Like, for example, current times in the current market, we're in May 2025. The rates are like in the 7s for someone that is going to buy a home, and they never own a property, and they're sitting there waiting for the rates to come down, right? And right now you have 5 offers on a property at the current times. Wait until you see the rates going from the 7 to the 5s. There's not going to be 5 offers. It's going to be 25 offers. It's going to be 30 offers for the same property. So the waiting because you didn't want to take that risk or lose, it's not like that, right? It's just the mindset. Do you see it from the glass half
full
empty
or empty, right?
Or full?
Yeah. It's all perspective, right? Like, I got into the business. I was recruited into the business. I did this story the other day in 2004, right? In 2004, 2005, I kind of started doing the business, understanding it. 2008 was a meltdown, right? So 2008 was like crazy. And I doubled down. I doubled down. I was like, if this is how bad it could be, when my thought process was, there'll be less competition. I established myself now, figure this out during the storm, and when things turn, I'm here. And that's exactly what I did, right? That's what I did. COVID came. If you weren't making an extreme amount of money during COVID, then you should have got out the game, right? Because everybody could qualify, everybody was getting a type of free assistance, rates were super low, like it was the perfect storm.
It was the perfect storm.
So,
yeah.
And forgive me for saying this, but I'll say it. If you weren't doing 7 figures at the time, then you're in the wrong business. You should just get out. Now it's harder. Now there's an attrition rate of loan officers, right? It went from 150 to 120 to 9. It went from 250 to 150 to 1 to 90,000 New York State licensed loan officers. Where are they going? They're going to get an easier job, right? I have a pipeline that's full of people. Rates are what they are. Rates are 7, right? On hard money, they're 15. Like I was selling 12 like 5 years ago because they needed hard money, right? It's all value. You present the value. This is how I can solve your issue, right? This is what it costs. Okay, well, if you solve my problem, I don't really care what it costs. Can you solve my problem? I was like, it's solved. Bet, right? That's the conversation. Not, is it 7%, is it 8%? The question is, are you ready? Did you find a house you like? Because every year that goes by, equity is going to go up. Your rent payment is going to go somewhere else. and you're not going to build anything, right? So that's the mindset. Like, get in the game. Like, you're watching still. You're watching. Renters, and no offense to people who just can't do it, I understand. I also know people that don't want to do it. They're like, yo, I'd rather just call and get it fixed. So mago, and I get it. Like, everything in life has to be fixed for them. They can't, if it takes too much effort, they don't want to be involved.
Yeah. But, I believe that if I was able to do it and own more than one.
But you wanted to do it.
I wanted to, yes. Yeah. But if I was able to do it, being undocumented, having no other assistance or someone to say, oh, yeah, let me vouch for you. Let me be a co-signer.
Co-sign for you, right?
If I was able to do it, and I didn't have much money really in the bank account, and I just figured it out, use funds here and there, and made it happen. If I was able to, so many people out there can, You just have to also be financially fit. And be smart with your decisions.
Financially fit, right. A lot of fitness going on.
A lot of fitness.
Yeah, there's a lot of fitness, yeah.
Because, look, I had a recent client that when we were looking to pre-approve, I saw a car payment on the $900 and change. And I was like, okay, you were just looking to buy in a $900 payment. When do you get the car? In December. In December. And you knew that you wanted to buy a property. Yes. So, you just have to be cautious.
And you understand, and then you got to coach them, right? You understand $900 a month is being taken away from your buying power. Like, you have to have that long conversation. No, and listen, when I bought my first house in 2004, I didn't have a coach. I was denied my first loan. That's how kind of I got into the game, besides being recruited. And my wife is pregnant, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
I'm buying a house. This is going to happen. Hell or high water, this is going to happen. I called a few people that I knew. They got me in contact with somebody at Countrywide.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, approved, man, I got you. And,
nice.
I ended up buying the house. But if my why wasn't strong enough, I could have been one of those guys. Disqualifying myself. I can't do it. They told this lady here at the bank.
And you know what? I do think, personally, I believe that now is easier than when we did it, when we bought our first property. For me, I think it was in the 2010s, around there.
Okay.
And back then, there wasn't a lot of movement in social media.
True.
So now there's a lot of movement in social media. If any client can just go out there and say, hey, can you help me with this? How can I get also down payment assistance? Do I qualify for it?
Right.
Or realtors that are really good in the home buying process, and they can connect them with all resources and also teach them and coach them. Because back then you didn't have a coach. I didn't have a coach about how to buy multiple properties. I did it, and if we did it, now
a la mala in Spanish.
People have resources to grow if that's what they really want to do. But you need to want it.
That becomes the chicken and the egg question. How bad do you want it? Omar, I want to do what you do. All right, bet. How bad do you want it? What are you willing to do? Right? That should be the guy. What are you willing to do? If I told you to cut your hand off, you're like, whoa. I'm just giving you that extreme conversation. I'm like, yo, bro, sometimes it has to be black and white. Like, you have to decide. I don't know if you follow Jim Rohn. You know who that is?
No.
Jim Rohn is the Tony Robbins' mentor. This guy, I wish I could have met this guy. He speaks as like he's speaking to me. He's like, it's all complicated. It's just that you have to decide which complicated you're taking. Like, if you want to make it happen, you decide to make it happen. You decide, and going back to what you're saying, how would I tell people? Listen, very simple. Take an audit. Going back to you in your spreadsheets, right? Take an audit of who you're hanging out with. What do you do most of your time? What you're eating. Like, if it's to lose weight, we used to tell people, write down everything you ate for the day. Look for a week. See what your patterns are. If it was financial, take a look. What are you paying? What are you buying? You go to Starbucks 3 times a day, bro? Like, that's a lot. $30 a day. Like, take an audit. Now you're looking at yourself. Now you have to really look at yourself. Now, here's the part. Am I willing to change? Is what I want a big enough motivator to make me change? Because if it's not, then we're going to run the circle all day.
Yeah. Right? I'm going to tell you something from that perspective. Sure. I like the audit piece.
Yeah.
And I will say, I don't encourage anyone that is watching this, go back to your last 3 months statements, or 2 to make it easy, and go through your spending patterns, your spending habits. And that's going to tell you who you are, what you do. And then you got to resonate on that and say, hey, am I making the right decisions because with the money you have, with the money you're making?
Yeah, and to add to what you're saying, everybody's different, right? So I'm an entrepreneur. I own multiple businesses, right? So one month I might look like a billionaire. The next month I might look like I need to borrow money. But that is what I signed up for.
Yeah.
It's not fun all the time, but it is what it is. Now, if you're a W-2 employee and you have steady income and you have fixed expenses, it should look different, right? I might go on a binge for marketing. I have to buy something. I had to buy heat and hot water, $15,000. Like there's certain numbers that are big, but they have to get done, right? These things have to get done.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking to buy a house, then what you're doing is the bank looks at you for 2 years, right? Really short window if you think about life. So for 2 years, your income you get as high as you can, minimize your expenses as much as you can, and look like a responsible individual, right? That's all you're doing. You're establishing a pattern. The bank says yes, you close on your house. Once you get to your house, now you have new expenses, right? But that's part of it. You'll have the depreciation you can write off. You'll have a tenant possibly. You'll have different things you can play with, but you'll have new issues. You'll have roofs. You'll have this. You'll have trees in your parking lot. Like I showed you, I had a tree in my parking lot. It is what it is, bro. Like if heavy is the head that holds the crown, right? It could break your neck, but it's part of it. It's what you signed up for. Like the one thing I want people to understand is that ownership changes you. I walk in my neighborhood, I'm very aware, right? Like I know my neighbors. I live in a nice neighborhood. We have tennis courts. When I was renting in the Bronx, and even owning in the Bronx, if all the homes were occupied by tenants, it was a definitely different feel. They were utilitarian. Sucio, nobody took care. There was no pride in home ownership. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, I just live here, right? But then you start owning stuff and you start taking pride in your things. And, I believe it changes your consciousness. Like you start looking at things differently. It's almost like the Matrix. Use that perspective, right? The Matrix changes for you because you're like, oh, I'm somewhere else now. And now my taxes look different and this looks different and that. But going back to mindset, you got to look at the good with the bad. Yeah, your expenses went up, but hey, if something happens in my neighborhood, it gets addressed within hours, which is unheard of. Park Avenue, I think in Manhattan, gets sanitation 3 times a week. It's the only avenue on Manhattan that gets it 3 times a week. Why do you think that is? It's Park Avenue, bro. Like, so you gotta take the good with the bad. Like that's something I want people to understand because like it's not all up. You're not always, oh, it's great, it's this, it's that. Sometimes te molesta, pero you gotta look at the bigger picture and have your positives always outweigh your negatives, right, in the long run. What would you say to people about that? Well, you're a multiple homeowner, right? In the beginning, we talked about this off camera. When you purchased, you were like, oh, what if my tenants don't pay me? And then, how do you get past that? Like, you just did it anyway, right?
Yeah, but given that I wasn't that person that had multiple resources, so I think financially, I would say, career-wise, I have always been a risk taker.
Okay.
But I have made it calculated risk. So I drew my scenarios in terms of, okay, everybody pays, yay, everyone's happy, right? One doesn't pay, where am I going to get the money from to pay for the mortgage?
Right.
It was just basically just me making that financial commitment. So I was able to do a good research to say, hey, I need unsecured lines of credit.
Okay.
So
this is all on your own though.
Yeah.
Right.
So if I don't get the rent, I have a line of credit that can draw from there.
Have a little blanket. Blanket.
So I did that. And then eventually what I did was for the second property, I was able to draft a home equity line of credit as well, then use the rental income. So meaning I was able to get a home equity in one property.
Right? To help cover in case of anything.
In case of anything,
yeah.
Right? In case of anything is the roof, the water tank, the boiler. Big expenses that you're like, here we go again, right? Yeah. So to be able to carry, right, the carrying cost or anything that would just come out of nowhere. So I would say calculated risk, just looking at different scenarios in terms of what if. That what if has always helped me. And even where money management, investing in stocks and options and things like that, where having the skin in the game is the only way that you can actually learn and identify your patterns and your behaviors. So I would say making calculated risk has been important. Different modeling what would happen, and then just making that step forward to take that risk. When I went to college, as an example, the first one, when I went for the very first time, I remember I paid $2,500 in cash, on a check, to the bursar, and I was thinking, man, I'm only like in my 20s, low 20s, and $2,500, I could go back to Honduras and buy a car and have a nice time and go back to school over there. Am I making the right decision? Because I didn't even have a Social Security, and it was only one credit because I had like some remedial classes because I screwed up on the test because I didn't even understand the questions.
Right, because you didn't speak the language.
Right. So I took that risk, and it did pay off. It did pay off. It did help me progressively meet the right people or build the right connections that helped me eventually open doors so that I can be where I am today.
How do you feel that you meet the right people?
So, for example, I was in the restaurant world for many years, 8, I would say, and in one class, business management class was actually, and I'm teaching this summer, I was just a student, and there was a young lady that went in front of the class and saying, hey, I'm from the Career Development Center. Do you guys like help on building a resume? And I was like, a resume?
Yeah, what's that?
What is that?
Yeah.
And then I started paying attention, and I just approached her at the end of that session, and then she was like, "Oh, you got work to do." So then met from her, and I'm still in touch with her until today.
That's great.
And so that was one of those right people that I met in my life that has made that positive change for me, right? It's just helped me and through mentorship and guidance, and up until today, I'm still in touch, and it's been always been there and that. It's been 15, 16 plus years or so, 18, something like that. It's been a while, but it's you meet certain people in your journey that either help you with your process of healing, or either emotionally or growing maturely or financially, or coaching, mentor you through career-wise as well. So been blessed with that. But I think it's being open to receptive and being a good listener to carefully identify who adds value or who really is not.
And it's hard because like when you're like in a certain level of maturity, you can see certain things. When you're not, it takes longer to learn because you're just not ready. Like you just like this, like if I think about my career, there's so many different little things that I could have done better, but I just wasn't ready, right? I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I'll give you a great example. I got called by this guy one time. This is like, I didn't know, man. This is like 2010. This is like a long time.
Yeah.
Called me up, referred to me, he's talking to me, and I'm like, he got the price is $999, so which $1,999,999 in 08 was like 1.999 and now. So I was like, oh, all right, cool. Got him the millions, great. He was like, yeah, I wanted to avoid the mansion tax. Right? At that point in my career, I didn't know idea what the fuck that was.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And so we continued the interview and stuff like that. But I was kind of out of my league. And he ended up going somewhere else, which is fine. But it just, I share L, right? Like people will think, oh, everything goes great for you. I was like, no, everything doesn't go great. I just pay attention, right? I pay attention. And if it doesn't go great, I kind of try to understand why and try to correct it, right? Like that becomes the thing. Going back to you didn't know what a resume was, and you were smart enough to ask where other people might be embarrassed, right? Especially your situation, right? Being undocumented, the language not well, the English not, all right. Just keep it like, how many times, I'll give you another example. I was at a closing, I want to say about a month ago. Was it a month ago? It doesn't matter. I was at a closing. Realtor is American. Sales realtor is American. Buyer's realtor is American. Clients are Spanish. Attorneys are American. Why do I use the ethnicities? Because nobody speaks Spanish. So I got referred the loan. I'm talking to the clients. I'm like, do you know this? Do you know? They don't know anything. So, all right, man, hold on. So I said, I'm going to go to closing, all right? Because they're sitting there, and maybe this is me thinking about my mom when she came from the country, like from Puerto Rico. She knew English, and that always, like she was always a little scared.
Yeah.
Always a little scared. And like, so they were like embarrassed to ask questions. And I was like, no. I was like, I told her, you're the most important person here. Mm-hmm. Without you, nobody here gets paid, including me. So you take as long or as fast as you want, and I'll translate anything you want, because I felt like they were getting railroaded. They didn't understand certain things. And ¿qué pasa con esto? And then once I said that, it opened up. They were like, oh, what about this? What about that? What's this? What's per diem? What's that? Like, and I'm breaking it down. What is the tenant's holdover? Like, I was explaining so much to them. And that's why in my experience, my clients become fanatics, because I could have just been like, yo, sign. Right? And they're like, okay, because they were too embarrassed. But I kind of felt something, and I was like, something's off. Let me check it out. Let me see what's going on. And now, you know how Latinos are. Oh, my cousin wants to buy. Everyone wants to buy, right? Because now they know that somebody is in their corner. Going back to me when I started the first time, I was like, nobody was in my corner. I was just fucking stubborn, right? And I had to get it done. My wife was pregnant. I'm out of here. This is gonna happen. And going back to you, like you're saying, oh, resume, what's that? Like, do I need that? Like, and continually trying to learn, right? It's a process, bro. Like, you don't become successful by one thing. Mm-hmm. You become successful by a compilation of adjusting and habits that you create to form the person that you are at this point in time. And that's always changing. That's going to change. Yeah, that's going to change, because who I am today, who I was at 25 is not who I am at 50. And who I will be at 60 or 70, I don't know. Like, I'll look at my 50-year-old and be like, oh, you're retarded. Like, what's wrong with you? Why would you think that way? But it's evolution, right? It's growing. And you have to embrace it. You have to be humble enough to know that you don't know everything. And even sometimes our egos are telling us different. And in certain arenas, you want to feel like you know, but shit's always changing. And going back to that term I use, not disqualifying yourself, where a lot of the younger generation now, they always have the reason. And I'm talking about my Isaiah right now, my son. I'm like, he always has a reason why it can't happen. I'm like, no. No, bro. Like, yeah. I told him, life is the process of elimination. That's all it is. I think most of the world, I was like, medicine is the process of elimination. Like, nobody knows this is the cure. I was like, you know how many experiments they've done on people to find out?
Yeah, but to that, I would say, I mean, you're right in everything you're saying. I agree with it. I would say we all have goals, right? And I was just going to ask you, hey, so what's like next? Because you bought properties, you invested, and you got this one where it's going to have a renovation here. Yeah. You're going to open up the space. And
I want to make it
welcome, an experienced place. Let's say a real estate hub. Yeah. Right. To say, that I think it's a brilliant idea. But I was also thinking on, look, we are living uncertain times all across, right? Like, we didn't think that, no one ever thought that we were going to have something like COVID.
Right.
At all, right? And just like that, there are other life experiences that we'll go through, and tomorrow's not promised. But we all have goals, right? We'll have goals. But within all those goals, there's certain goals that are very meaningful that we see in life, like right out there. But some of those goals, we can actually make them happen today, if we could. Because I just recently, within my circle, I had someone that passed, and it was just right around my age. And tomorrow's just not promised.
Sudden. It's very sudden. Yeah, they make you start thinking about existence, right?
Right, yeah. Exactly. So we have to really make the very best we can with today, with what we have, with where we are, treasure that. So what are some of the things that, let's say, you could do in the near future besides that map of that journey, if you could, or if you can?
Well, to answer your question in a little bit long-winded way, so most people don't know this, but my mother died last year, and it was 8 years of me dealing with dementia and...
Sorry about that.
Thank you. Vascular dementia, which, if you don't know what it is, Google it. It's when you have strokes and you start losing your mind. And I was her caretaker. I was just me on my 10 toes, just showing up, and I protected my family from it, my family, my sons and my wife, because it's a heavy lift. In that experience, I can tell you, I've learned to appreciate every day. And I really try to squeeze the shit out of every day. If you follow my stories, you guys know, like, everything I do, I go 100. And on top of that, you know, like, life is life, right? So the great thing is we get it. The not so great thing is we don't know what's going to not be there, right? So my only advice would be so there's a couple of creeds I have. One of the creeds I have is always give more than you take, right? Leave the world with more than you took from it. So, and I do that in my relationships. And that's what started the conversation with you about that. Well, how do you do that? Because it's something that I struggle with myself. You want to give, but also you have to protect. You have to protect yourself because you can lose yourself. So the answer is, listen, man, anything you do it because it is who you are, not because it's what people expect or not because you expect something. It's who you are. And as simple as that sounds, people struggle with it because, oh, he's going to take advantage. If that's the way you're going to come into it, yeah, you're going to take advantage. Like in business, there's a saying, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate, right? That's business.
Yeah.
In life, I believe you give because of who you are, right? And the only point I would add to that, people, is you don't give so much of yourself that you take from yourself, that you start detracting because it becomes less of you. And there's a whole concept of recharging, right? You have to recharge the energy. You have to the reason I invited you on the show is because your energy. You had good energy. There's a lot to talk about. And no, listen.
Thank you.
You laugh, but it's you'll take this conversation and you'll start seeing. I understand that. Like, you're like, oh my God. Like, if you don't look forward to a meeting, you're like, I understand. It's the energy. Yeah, it really is all energy, man. So yeah, my advice is you live the day for the day as full as you can. Leave it all on the table. And get a good night's rest. And if you wake up tomorrow, do that shit again. Because one day we're not waking up and we don't know what that is. So live that way, right? Live that way. I mean, also, as you get shit and you're responsible for people, you have to become financially more responsible, meaning life insurance policies, things like that. Because I'm the one in my family. I created our homes. We have the multifamilies. We have this. I've invested in crypto. I invested a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I try everything. But I also know that, God forbid, the day I'm gone, that's a heavy lift for my family. My wife's not built like me. My kids aren't built like me. So I have to leave something for them to at least not lose their shit while they progress into life without dad, right? Like, my parents, I buried them. Like, they left me a fucking bill. They're like, what we doing? Wow. You know, those are the calls I got. Like, even my step-pops, I got a call, hey, we got to leave him at the morgue. I'm like, what? I was like, no, we're not leaving him at the morgue. Oof. What does it cost?
Yeah.
But, you know, I had this conversation with my son earlier this week. I was like, it was like my ode to him. Like, thank you for being in my life, and I got you, right?
Yeah.
At least you know you can settle down, and somebody, the way you had me as a little kid, like you had my back, I got you as an older man. So I felt honored. I mean, obviously, you know, at the moment, you're like, wow, okay. You get it done, and then later, like, damn, man, nobody else would step up for this guy. I was like, I just, going back to mindset, right? I just took it as, yo, it's my honor. You know, as a young man, he did a lot of things for me that helped me become the man I am. So the universe is saying, yo, he needs you.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky that I could do it. And going back to, yo, it's all perspective and mindset. It's like, other people are like, oh, his son or this. It's what it is, man. Like, well, I don't care. Like, I really don't care. Like, I didn't even ask. I was like, okay. His girlfriend, because my mom and him had broken up. His girlfriend called me. I was like, yo, I got it. Don't worry about it. I'm sending this. I'm going to sell you this.
Yeah.
Take care of it. Don't worry about it. She's like, you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm sure. And I left it. I was in another country when I got that call. And I had to deal with that. Yeah, I took a whole 3 hours. Like, I told the kids, I was like, yo, I just need a couple hours. Let me just process.
Yeah.
But the show goes on, meaning I've done my best to try to keep my kids moving in their lives. Like, my grandmother, when I met her, she had a stroke, right? So she was like, she wasn't like the typical grandma cooking. She was in a wheelchair. So when I would go to Puerto Rico, I would, it was just different. It wasn't like I had a grandmother experience. Like, for them, I wanted them to have their grandma. I wanted them, like, they still have one left. I wanted them to have all these things. And also when we lose our soldiers, I use that metaphor. I want them to know they're still gonna go. It's still like you're still going to school. You're still going like when my mother first got sick. Like my head was like scrambled eggs, but luckily I had saved enough. Going back to financial responsibility, that school kept going. You know, I know this sounds retarded, but like the beach club, like the shit they used to never stopped. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, in my generation, somebody gets sick, everybody stops. Everybody's going to grandma's house, and you're just sitting there 8 hours a day, just doing nothing.
Yeah,
like, that's what I grew up with. And going back to like what I told you, like we try to shield them, right? Like I don't want them to do that. I don't want them to, because that shit was shitty. It was like, you know, there's a lot of heavy weight for a little kid, right? Like, and it's not like they could do anything about it. They're just collateral damage at that point. Mm-hmm. And that becomes, you know, that like that's the conversation, right? Like what are we doing? We're shielding them from things that we suffered from because we don't want them to experience the trauma we experienced. But there's a whole new set of experiences that we don't know about that's waiting for them out there, and we're gonna have to try to help them navigate it.
So you want to pretty much make sure that there is a legacy within your family so that they have an ongoing process, that they continue building or sustaining what you built so that they can have that
I preach to them
lifestyle.
I preach to them all the time about the importance of homeownership, about the things that I'm doing. On my multifamily apartment building, we have a life insurance partner buyout. Yeah. So one of us passes, our family gets whatever our share is, you know, whatever it is. I won't put those numbers out there right now. Yeah. That shit wasn't taught to me, man.
Right.
Like I had to learn that shit. I'm like, well, what happens here? I was like, because I've seen bad partnerships. I've seen one guy pass, mm-hmm. the wife come in thinking she knows how to do shit, and all of a sudden it falls apart. Yeah. Right? So mm-hmm. I'm like, I told my boy, I was like, yo, I love you. I don't know your wife. And you love me, but you don't know her either. I was like, we don't want to do that. We want to like figure that part out. So like, oh, you think so? Like, yeah, I know so. So that became like what we did. Again, just looking at failures in different people and different partnerships and learning from them and not just becoming another fucking statistic, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it goes back to wanting to learn and wanting to get better, smarter, you know, more financially adept. And again, like for people like us, we're scrappy, man. Like I said, my parents left me with a bill. If I can't say that any better, like there was no legacy. Like, oh, Omar, they left him $1 million. Nah, man. Right. Nah, man. Nah. And it's okay.
In a way, it was a good thing, you know. Yeah. They didn't leave you with $1 million, right? Because you could have.
It would have helped. Whatever.
We think it could have helped.
Yeah. It would have eased the burden, but it is what it is, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
So what do you have an 18-year-old and a 13-year-old? So what is it that you want to leave them with? What do you want to try to emblazon? And you have a daughter and a son, right? Yeah. So I have 3 boys, 3 different versions of me, which is fucking crazy when you look at it, because you see they migrate to certain parts of your mm-hmm. characteristics more than others. What do you see in your daughter? What kind of character? What did she get from you?
So, well, I'm very happy that they both have gotten to have a close relationship with God, with they're people of faith.
Well, that's because of example, right?
Yeah, and they gotten to experience what I experienced when I was in my teens, in my 20s, and it's just like having that connection of prayer. I think it's something that I have been wanting for them to experience on their own, and I think they got in that. So I'm very happy with that. Mm-hmm. In terms of everything else, is I'm pretty content with all the struggles they had, and also with their learning experiences that they're living. So I think overall, I am content with them seeing my wins and also the opportunities that I had for growth, because even as a young parent, there are many mistakes I made in the journey. Many mistakes, right? And I could have been so much better in so many areas, and they seen it, you know, and I think that they have learned from me in terms of what to do and also what not to do. So I think for me will be continue to building and grow the relationship that we have, staying connected. Just as you were mentioning before this, right, on no matter what it is, you're always going to be their dad.
Yeah.
Right. No matter what it is, you can talk with them, you can take time apart, time away, but you will always be their father. Either they like it or they don't.
The statement was, just to clarify, right, was that I'm not your friend, I'm your father. So
Right.
you might not like what I'm saying, but you're going to hear it because this is my house. Anyway,
Right.
going back to you now.
That's the point.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
point.
yeah.
There are going to be many disagreements, many things that they don't like because difference of opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But no matter what it is, I'm always going to be their father. And I think continue growing that relationship when they're in their 20s and their 30s is something that I look forward to, so that they can, I opened businesses as well that didn't go well.
Okay.
And same thing, I tell them, hey, if you're going to do that, these are certain things that you need to have in place if you're
You should
going to
know
do that.
about this.
Right?
Yes. Sales tax.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yes. Yes. That quarterly sales tax.
Yeah. I know the liquor store.
Yes.
I know that's about. Yeah.
And
They,
if you're gonna
they
do
will
mo-
show up at your store.
They will. Yes, they will. Yeah, we'll see those bills. With interest. So yeah. So I think that would be it for me. Yeah, that was a good question. Thank you.
No, of course, man. Listen, believe it or not, these pieces of content will be legacy pieces. You can look at this. This is gonna go online eventually, and then in 40 years, you'll be like, yo, I was pretty intelligent. Look at me. Look at my suit. Look at my hair. Like, I look good, right? Yeah. Well, that's the part that I also tell people, because when I started this journey 4 or 5 years ago, that was one of the things my marketing got told me. They go, oh, this is gonna live forever. Like, so you're gonna see yourself in your prime, and then let's say you have grandkids or great grandkids, and they'll see you all fucked up, but they'll be like, no, look, he was pretty cool back then. Now
That's true.
Now we gotta change his pamper, but now, but back then he was killing it. He was killing it.
That is true.
And that resonated with me because I only have like maybe 2 pictures of my grandfather, maybe 1 picture of my father, maybe 2. Maybe I don't want to minimize it like that, but yeah, like I have videos of my kids. I have, they're in my life, so I see them, and I think that's cool because it's forever. It's forever. All right, so Danny, in summary, what would you want? How do you want people to get in contact with you if they need you for anything? Look into the camera, please, and speak to them.
Yeah, so you can definitely reach out to me via phone, 917-922-4521. 917-922-4521. It will be within the description, or you can find me on Instagram at Dan Menendez DZ at Instagram. Or you can just hit up my friend here, Luis Omar.
And I will connect you to Danny.
Yeah.
That's perfect. It's a win-win. Me, ask Luis Omar, all platforms. You know what it is. You can ask me any question. I'll answer when I can. And I'll always keep it real. Until next time.